Ahmed Quraishi, Senior Research Fellow at an independent Pakistani think tank, Project Pakistan 21. Mr. Quraishi, thank you very much for joining us. What could be the implications of the operation with Mr. Obama for Pakistan?
The implications, that's the question that is being debated, of course, here. There are a lot of speculation about some dire consequences for Pakistan, but I don't see the Pakistani officials really very worried about the aftermath of the operation that took out Osama bin Laden. Frankly, we are not seeing any sort of concern on the part of Pakistani officials. It seems to me that at some level, maybe not the entire government, but at some level, Pakistan was definitely on board with the United States before the operation was carried out, and some of the logistics that were involved in that operation do indicate that it would not have been possible to carry out the operation in its entirety without a good level of cooperation on the Pakistani side. So if you go through the wording of the official statements, in particular the official statement of the Pakistan Foreign Office yesterday on the operation, it just seems to me and to a lot of people that the government here at some level was on board, and they're not really deeply concerned about the fact that Osama bin Laden was found so close in an area that is so close to the Pakistani federal capital. I think it is a foregone conclusion that most of the senior leadership of Al-Qaeda has been found and eliminated in Pakistan over the past 8 years with Pakistani cooperation. In fact, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and Abu Faraj Libi and others were found in areas where, in fact, one of them, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, was found in Rawalpindi, which is the garrison city and the headquarters of the Pakistani military. So it's not very unusual that this time Osama bin Laden was found so close. Of course, people were expecting that he wouldn't be in plain sight. He was in an area where he could have easily been detected. Now that we hear reports that he was here for 6 months, it is actually surprising for many Pakistanis. I am surprised, for example, that he was there for 6 months, if he was really there, and was not detected, and the news didn't travel in the local population, considering that where he was, it's a small town, it's a small city, and there's a heavy military presence as well. But all of these actually also do embarrass Pakistan to a certain extent, but it also seems that the Pakistani officials were keen yesterday and are keen even today to let the United States government, and in particular the Obama administration, take credit for this major victory for the United States in the war on terror. It's a huge boost, of course, for President Obama personally. It, of course, also vindicates the American intelligence community, the U.S. military in Afghanistan. And from the Pakistani perspective, it provides the perfect opportunity for the United States to maybe begin its drawdown in Afghanistan. And the Pakistanis, I think, believe that they would be well positioned in all arrangements in Afghanistan post the U.S. presence. So overall, the aftermath here, seen from the Pakistani perspective, if you were in Islamabad, from this vantage point, there is no panic here. There's no concern. There are a lot of reports, of course, in the media that this would really backfire on Pakistan, but frankly, we're not seeing any signs of that yet.
Mr. Quraishi, now there has been some speculation in the media about the possible successors to Mr. bin Laden. What do you think, just how important the personality of a successor is for the future strategy of Al-Qaeda in general?
The strength of Al-Qaeda has been one point of contention between the Pakistanis and Americans, and in particular between the CIA and ISI for some time now. Of course, we all know about what appears to be the rupture in relations between the two intelligence agencies and over many, many issues, but this is one of these smaller issues. I recall that probably 2 years ago, it began probably 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, when the Pakistanis were beginning to question some of the intelligence assessments released by various departments of the U.S. government, in particular the CIA and the White House, over the strength of Al-Qaeda in the Pakistan-Afghanistan region. Whereas the Americans were more prone to sort of exaggerate the strength of Al-Qaeda here and its capabilities, the Pakistanis were questioning and asking for more evidence that would prove that the Al-Qaeda is still strong and is still capable of carrying out major attacks beyond the Pakistan-Afghanistan region. Of course, we know that Al-Qaeda people here or there have been involved in suicide attacks or in helping suicide or financing suicide attacks in Pakistan. But to talk or speak of major attacks outside in Europe or maybe in mainland United States, that has been under question. The main reason for that is, of course, according to the Pakistani intelligence information, the number of people who could be associated or could be hardcore Al-Qaeda, at least in within the Pakistan territory, is by all counts less than 100. We're talking about major Al-Qaeda people. And of course, not every Arab fighter in the tribal belt would automatically be a hardcore Al-Qaeda. Considering all of these points, just to answer your question, the successor, if we assume that Al-Qaeda is really too weak, and if we really assume that their presence in the Pakistan-Afghanistan region is really, in numbers, is too small and insignificant to carry out major attacks, then the question of a successor really does not matter much. We're seeing that many of the Islamist groups that are operating in various parts of the world are really intrinsic to and indigenous to those regions. And there might be ideological inspiration from Al-Qaeda, but there's very little organizational linkages to Al-Qaeda as Al-Qaeda used to be before 9/11, 10 years ago. So a successor, if there is ever one, may not really be sitting atop a very lethal or strong organization.
Mr. Quraishi, thank you very much. And just to remind you, our guest speaker was Ahmed Quraishi, Senior Research Fellow at an independent Pakistani think tank, Project Pakistan 21, coming to us all the way from Islamabad, Pakistan.